Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I hope everything's okay in your life. In this video you will find an updated version of series I prepared in the previous years. You're in luck for listening to the explanation because I felt the need to quickly discuss the content of the video. Each video will feature an interview with a class master about either the Succession or Awakening versions of a class. All videos, including the older ones, will be available in the playlist you see on the screen. You can find the link of the playlist in the pinned comment section. The purpose of this video series is to help you understand the basic role of the class within the game. I must clarify that it is not a deeply detailed guide. You will watch an interview in a conversational style aimed at answering the fundamental questions of those interested in playing a class. The class masters featured are experienced players who have dedicated thousands of hours to their class and to the Black Desert Online. You may recognize some and not the others, but unfamiliarity does not make them bad players. All the class masters mentioned have proven themselves in Black Desert Online world. Please be respectful when sharing your thoughts. Enjoy watching.
Halt! For beyond the border lurks only death, and nothing you are searching for. Alas, one has already been devoured by the serpent.
Hello guys, welcome. Today's guest is Noiros. Welcome Noiros, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine.
Let's start the interview. May you please introduce yourself? Who are you? Where are you from? Which server are you playing at?
Hello, my name is Yuri. Originally, I'm from Russia, now living in Finland, but I still play on Russian server. I stay at the Twitch on Russian language and sometimes making videos on YouTube.
Thank you. So how did you find out of BDO? What caught your interest to stay in BDO?
I started to play BDO since the release on Russian server. I saw trailers and this combat system hooked me up. I always loved this sort of slasher combat. My favorite game series is Devil May Cry, and BDO can offer something similar but in MMORPG, so I really like it.
I mean, not gonna lie, like the class masters giving this almost same answer to this one.
Same
Like
answer, yes.
combat system is just draw their attention, and they just stay in this game because of the combat system. So, have you ever taken a break from playing BDO? If so, what motivated you to come back?
Yes, I started playing BDO since media content was released because all of my friends left the game and I got bored because of lack of content. I played last arc, but then Hashashin class trailer was released and oh my god, never had such interest to a video game before. Prince of Persia inspired class in MMORPG and I came back to the game immediately after this class was released.
Yeah, not gonna lie, when I see the Hashashin, I was a little bit afraid because, you know, the tornadoes, the scent things, like Hashashin is able to go in there, is pretend like an NPC, and I was just saying that, dude, because it was the first time they just gave that type of animation and that type of mechanic to give any class. This is the first one. It pretends like your classes pretends when you go into tornado, it's just pretends like a pet, or like NPC, and you're not able to just properly see it, properly touch it, or something like that. I was a bit afraid how they just manage it, and they managed it. And now, if you ask me, like people asking me sometimes which classes you would like to play if you've not played Rukan or Volk or something, and I was just saying like probably it would be Hashashin.
Yes, he's really good at endgame spots, but mostly on Dekia. But it has some problems. It was bug issues from these tornadoes. Do you know that tornadoes don't take any buff from spot mechanics like Gaifin or something like this?
Yeah.
They just don't do damage.
So another question. How long have you been playing the class you're currently playing? Have you tried any other classes?
I play Hashashin since the release. My main spec is Succession, but 1 year ago I started to play Awakening also. I also tried many classes on season servers. My second main class is Ninja for PvE Succession Ninja and PvP for Awakening.
Thank you. So what sets the class you play apart from the other classes? What is the special thing of Hashashin?
First of all, it's visual. I don't know any other that can offer class like this. Sand Assassin with Curved Blade and Dagger. But in gameplay terms, Succession Hash can offer unique gameplay in both P and PvP side. Succession Hash in current state is a counter to class that need to use frontal guards in their rotation. Also, in my opinion, Sakash one of the best classes which have no grabs and you can be useful in any type of content. For PvE, it's one of the best grinders on Dekia spots. Awakening Hash is one of the best 1v1 classes. He have almost everything, good mobility, slope debuffs, ranged grab, protected CC, and very good combo damage.
I get it. So, is your class evasion or damage reduction or both playable and why?
As you may know, changes in DR and evasion can be implemented sooner or later, but in current state, both are playable. It's like choosing your playstyle. DR is more offensive and the evasion is defensive. I will recommend to start from damage reduction, and if you want, switch to evasion gear a little bit on your progression. Evasion is really good to gear check people. They won't kill you if they don't have any accuracy gear, but if they have, don't expect to be tanky. You will survive enemy combo only if you put slow debuff on them, because Sakhash have only 9% evasion buff and the Awakening have 12% evasion buff. Then that's it.
What I see from the other Hashashin players, Awakening mostly preferred evasion because you just mostly like face-to-face combat type, like a guerrilla type. Go in if you can catch, burst and go out. That type of like with air attack burst damage.
That's it. Exactly. Yes.
What is your current gear score? Do you rush gear progress or you take it easy type of guy?
My current gear score is around 730. Depends on my build. I prefer not to rush my gear progression. I already got everything that I want. I was really lucky with my enchantment, both of my Pendables was one-tapped, and sometimes I just sit on the Dekia Olens and enchant earrings.
Thank you. So, is your class newbie friendly? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate its difficulty? If you want, you can separate and compare it as Succession and Awakening.
In PvE, Sakhash is hard because he don't have good circlet combo. For me, it's really hard to explain when someone asking me for combo. Because it's not about combo, it's about priorities. First, you should spam your tornadoes out of cooldowns. Second, you should maintain all of your 4 buffs and add-ons. So it's kinda hard for newbies. In PvP, Sakhash is easier because your kit is limited and simple. First, you're getting used to your spells, and then you're training against every other class, and remembering they have frontal guards to punish. What about Awakening? Awakening have reverse situation in my opinion. It is really simple because of looped combo, you just spam it and you don't think about anything. But in PvP, this class is really hard. You should utilize both of your stances, so it will be hard for new players. To summarize, Success on Hash PvE is 7 out of 10, PvP 6 out of 10, Awakening PvE is 5 out of 10, and PvP 8 out of 10.
So, we talked about in general Awakening and Succession. Thank you for all of these informations. They're priceless. We're gonna just dive into Succession Hashashin. We are curious about your thoughts on the PvE situation of the class of Succession Hashashin. Could you provide us with detailed information separately for early, mid, and end game? How is he?
If you're looking for the most efficient PvE class, Hash is not. Early game is really hard for both specs because of poor stamina and early game spots. Also mana issues if you don't have perfumes or mana pots. Mid spots are fine, but not the greatest performance. Awakening is better for these spots. And first good spot for Hash is lower Gyfin. You can start grind there from 290 AP. Awakening Hash combo is very comfortable for this spot. Sack Hash PvE it's all about endgame. Dekia spots is best for him. Because of his tornadoes, they deal a ton of damage on the spots where you need to stand still. But tornadoes is also a reason why Sakhash is bad on many other spots. First of all, tornadoes don't get any spot buff, like lower Gyfin color buff, so one of your main source of damage will not work on spots like this. And the second example, he really depends on this tornado spawn skills. It has 12 seconds cooldown. We want to farm like, for example, Darkseeker's Retreat. You can't kill pack of mobs without these tornado skills. Many other classes can just use one part of their rotation, kill pack, and go to the next one without any delay. In summary, I would pick Sakhash for efficient Dekia spots grind. He's one of the best classes for these spots.
I mean, I saw some of the Turo videos or something. He almost doing nothing, just creating tornadoes, few skills for buff, debuff, and tornado is killing everything. It's amazing.
Yes.
I mean, you're right. Like if your target is just standing still or in just like a small area and there's a cycle, something like 15-second cycle or something, tornadoes are being effective. And also but also the other problem, if there is, as you said, this is not only a Hashashin problem. I hate this situation. All other class masters are also crying about that. I mean, who has the pet damage dependent class? This pet damage is not benefiting from the buffs, the independent buffs, spot mechanics, and something like that. I don't know when PA will fix that, but if PA fix that, maybe Hashashin can be S tier grinder. I don't know.
It will be much more better. I think they need just do debuff instead, not just buff. We can just debuff this area or mob packs, and it will be much easier to maintain, I guess.
Yeah, maybe you're right. For example, for Gyfin Underground, you just said that we are not able to benefit it. When you have red buff, your red buff will debuff only red, and then you will be able to deal damage. Yeah, that maybe it works. Yeah, you're right. Okay, let's talk about PvP. We are curious about your thoughts on the PvP situation of Hashashin. Could you provide us with detailed information separately for 1v1, 1vx, AOS, 5v5, Guild League, Node, Siege, and War of the Roses?
Hashashin overall is a great PvP class with good amount of flexibility. So back to Sakhash. Sakhash, in my opinion, is one of the best 1v1 classes which don't have access to grab. Instead, you can punish every frontal guard skill, kill people with SA trading and pure damage. I played many 1v1 tournaments, melee on trial characters, and he is really good, if you know what are you doing. Sakhash, many hard matchups, but it still depends how good your opponent is. 1vx also is very good because sometimes you don't even need to CC, and you just blast them with your damage, speed, and iframes. AOS, he is like A tier. He is good, but grab is important for the AOS. Also, your main CC is a float. Your damage comes from air attacks, and this is bad for your teammates because floats is much shorter than the knockdowns. But you also have access to knockdowns, but it has less damage than float combos. Sakash also have a really good 100 BSR ult, but it's risky because you can't skip it and you become easy target for grab or damage. One of your main advantages in AOS is your insane burst mobility, which allows you to find opponents after you used emergency escape. This called sniff. You're trying to predict where your enemy goes and CC him immediately after he comes from V. You start to struggling on higher rankings, where people know Sakash weaknesses of being hardly focused and not much you can do about it. 5 versus 5, he is really good damage dealer. If you play DR Glass Cannon build, you can kill almost every target, especially with someone's help you. But you need to play really defensive and be careful to not get in some random one-shot. Sakash don't have any utility or party cooldowns, you just straight damage, and you probably don't want to take Hash. Sakash because not much space in your team. For Gear Click, it's the same story. You're really good at killing rangers, archers, magus, but you can't give your teammates something more than just simple damage and better pick some Tarkania Maegu for this role. At Siege, you can make highest kill counts on both capped and uncapped Siege. Then you hide it in your tornadoes, many players turning the effect completely, and that's make you invisible and SA also. So you can just create much chaos in the battle, make your damage rotation, and just run away and then repeat. You can easily play Sakash in this content. He really and have really high kill count, but if it's like super high-end guilds, they will not pick Sakash if they have some other option. So I don't need to tell about Awakening briefly, right? In conclusion, small scale is better for Awakening Hash, and large scale is better for Succession.
So, is there a significant strong aspect of the class you're playing or weakness? So, like in short term, what is the strongest thing? What is the weakest thing of Hashashin?
The strongest aspect for Sakash is possibility to punish every frontal guard in the game in the different ways. He has like 3 or 4 spells which can punish enemies for using these frontal guard skills. And his weakness in current gear meta, Glass Cannon build is not efficient and hard to pull off, because you will die from random skills if you was unaware, and iframes sometimes work really bad, and you can die just in the middle of it. And also, if you don't have damage on Sakash, in my opinion, you're wasting your time, because your main win condition is to SA trade people and one combo them if they're getting CC'd. And also, being hardly focused by classes that have insane mobility and grabs, for example, Tamer or Awakening Nova, is a significant weakness.
Thank you. Are there any classes that clearly dominate the class you're playing? Or in other words, can you clearly dominate other classes? The counter matchups for you.
There's actually many of them. The most hardest opponent is Awakening Tamer, who has too much mobility for a class with the grab, so it's a problem for you. Next is Awakening Striker, because he have too much magic damage reduction. You need to deal with evasion LDR also, so you need to pick your build clearly to make some damage on Awakening Striker. And it's really hard to kill very geared Striker. Valkyries also really hard to deal with. They will just sit in Q block, you scratching them, and they just run away, repeat the process, and that's it. So it's really hard to kill them. So what about what countering? What am I countering? So I counter like Succession Musa, Succession Tamer, no, Succession Torque, because they really depends on their frontal guards, and I just see this skill with frontal guards and I just press my buttons which can punish them.
Is there a mechanic or skill in your class that you would like to be buffed or nerfed?
Future for Sakash for me is really unclear, because developers said that they will shift into frontal guard meta more. In that case, you can't left Sakash with the same as it is right now, because it will be too strong. They also said that they will change DR and evasion, and the result can be less damage than now. Sakash really depends on dealing high damage, and if they took this away, Sakash becomes just E or C tier class in PvP, so I'm afraid of it, but we will see. There's nothing they can buff, because some little bit AoE frontal guard will not help you in overall, but Also, we'll see what happens.
Thank you. So can we get a brief summary of good and bad things of Succession Hashashin? Let's say that I want to re-roll to Succession Hashashin. What should I expect from Succession Hashashin? What he can offer me?
First of all is flexibility of the class. You can play more small-scale focused PvP or large-scale. Difficulty level is also flexible. If you want just some chill grind, pick Awakening, Prisker and Win. If you want some more challenging, now pick Succession Hash. In general, it's really good class to play in both PvE or PvP.
Thank you. All the infos, their road prices. Let's talk about BDO itself. What are your thoughts on BDO's current situation from past until now?
BDO developers makes a huge progress in terms of content and quality of life changes, and I like path that they choose. This game would be the best game I ever played, but it's missing one huge point. Technical state for PvP in this game is too bad. I know there is no online games that don't lag or bug, but BDO, do I even need to tell you how buggy and laggy BDO is? PvP have so much randomness, desync, resist. Just imagine, you play in ranked hours or tournament, you grab someone, you're about to win, but instead, you're getting desync and you and your enemy both lay on the ground. Your super armor just didn't work. This sometimes make me wanna quit so hard. And that's why I think they need to pull more effort to fix servers, create a better tick rate.
So what do you think that PA company does very well, and also what they do something bad about updates? If you were in charge, let's say that you are a new Mr. J, what would you like to add or remove from the game?
PA does really well with quality of life changes. Magnus as mechanic is my favorite one. I also really like how they start ask for a community opinion. For example, with PvP changes, I hope actually they exist. It was so long ago. They also did good job with new player experience. But I think they need to make starting quest lines be more challenging, a bit more focused about combat and not just spam button to skip dialogues. As a PvP player, I'm more interested in the balance change. Now PvP balance is fine, but it needs little bit of attention in terms of bug abusing. Like Scholar, killing reduction is not working properly in AOS since the release of this class, so it can be fixed easily, I think. As a PvP player, I would like to have some additional group spots. I really enjoy Tunkuta spot, and I would be glad if they add something similar and will be really efficient like Tunkuta. And the last one, please, get rid of resist. It's annoying both for PvE and PvP. PvE is just limiting your crystal slots, and for PvP mechanics is too old and unfair. Nowadays, you have SA and iframes rotation. You don't need resist.
Yeah, most of the class masters, they're just complaining about the resistance. I also agree with that. I mean, at least just make it. You know, what is the situation? What I would like to see. Just keep the resist in the game, but do not. If I just put tons of ignore resisting, they should work 100%. You know what I mean? Like, for example, the maximum level of, for example, ignore resist or resist should be 50%, not 80. Like, if I just put 50% ignore on my character, because you're gonna sacrifice many crystal slots, many other things, maybe sub weapon or something, whatever you say. If I just do that, it should just give me the 100% chance, isn't it? Because I'm sacrificing anything. But my opponent is just making the 80%. Even if I just sacrifice many other things, and I just get like a 40-50% ignore resist, there's a still 30% chance to just get like resist by your enemy, and it is so irritating. So what advice would you like to give to newbies, returnees, and other players in the game?
My advice would be play class that you enjoy the most. Don't even look how good or bad it is. You will play with more pleasure if you like visuals. Don't rush the gear progression, it's not necessary. You will get almost every content that you need with capped activities. And if you got overwhelmed with game information, don't be afraid to ask some streamer, or you can just find some video that tells everything that you need.
So we are reaching the end of the interview. Is there anything else you would like to add before we finish?
If you have some questions about Hashashins, you can ask in Hashashin class Discord, or you can just also ask me directly on Twitch or Discord message. Thank you very much for your discussion. Have a nice day.
Thank you, thank you. Right now on the screen, you are seeing all the social links of Noiros And thank you so much, Noiros. He just shared all the details and information about Emerald Hashashin, and especially for Succession Hashashin. I'm really happy that I found out like a proper Hashashin player, because in these days it is so hard to find Hashashin players, because Plus is not old, but Plus is kind of special and unique, and not everyone wants to play that class. And it is so hard, and I'm really happy just having Noiros in here. Thank you so much, Noiros.
Thank you very much.
Alright guys, do not forget, BDO is just a game. Have a nice game.